Today is Tuesday, March the 9th, and we saw the McClellan oscillator move up to just 6 points below the neutral line. This is still a bearish complex pattern. We are not out of the woods yet. If you look at the volume, let's just take a look at the Wall Street volume. You can see that, let's make sure we got the right date here. The advancers to decliners were pretty darn close. I mean, not big, not a big difference. If you look at FinViz, FinViz shows them as 70 to 30%, but of the 3362 that traded today, they were fairly close. And compared to a week ago, the reverse of a week ago, the advancing volume was less than 200,000 shares, 200 million shares higher than the declining volume. So it wasn't a spectacular day from terms of volume. And you can see what happened with this. You had a drop off in the Dow, which had a bang up day yesterday, but just barely squeaked out a win today. The NASDAQ was the big winner, constantly moving up during the day. S&P tailing off in the latter part of the afternoon. And you had mixed here. The financials were down. The technology was up. Communications was up. Healthcare was mainly green. Consumer cyclical was mainly green. So let's look at the charts. And the one that we noticed yesterday, which was important, was that the price stopped yesterday right at the 50 EMA and SMA, which are both tracking together. And that, we said, was going to result in our bounce. Now we're above the 8, but we finished below the 20 simple moving average. So we're sandwiched between the two. The Chiku span is above. It got its support 2 days in a row on the top of the candles. And that's what helped us call today for a relief bounce, which we got. But what does it mean for tomorrow? It means that tomorrow we have the opportunity to drop down and still stay above the candles and the 8 EMA. But it could be a day where, the bears are still in charge on the McClellan oscillator. It still could be a down day. And the aftermarket right now shows that the market is actually trending a little bit down. As you see, the Dow finished higher, not a new record. The new closing record would be right up here at 3,200, and we finished below that. The NASDAQ had a big day today, finished just below. We've got two different green moving averages here. Let's get rid of the 9 and just leave the 8, and we're just above the 8, and the Chiku span got rejected. If you look at where it got rejected today, it got rejected right at this point here, which is roughly the bottom of this candle. So again, the Chiku span is showing support on the S&P, is showing resistance on the NASDAQ. There's your support on the S&P. The volatility index continued to drop. That's a good thing. Apple was up 4%. It's getting rejected on the 8 EMA as well. Builders First Source did not make a new high. It could have, but it actually came down and finished where it had previously had a high and above the 178.6. So we're still heading to 49.67. And remember that we picked this stock from tip ranks. And analysts are saying by the end of the year that we'll see 50 to 55, maybe even higher. So I have 400 shares there. I didn't buy or sell anything today. Caterpillar had a bit of a drop, surprisingly. So did Deere. Home Depot had a bit of a punch up, still below the cloud. Still a lot of work to do. Flat clouds attract. And Home Depot should come up and should hit this cloud. So we're going to take this here. We're going to move this here. That's going to be our zone of focus for Home Depot. is the flat cloud, and we would expect rejection off the flat cloud, and then perhaps a move. So we're going to say this, and then perhaps a move through here. Let's see if that can happen for us. So we're going to keep an eye on that as we do future videos. The banks, as I said, JP Morgan was down. The fifth largest bank, USO, was down 1%. Sorry, USO. US Bank was down 2.13%. So, I mean, let's look at NEO. NEO was up 17%. Again, here's another stock stopping. Let's get rid of the 8 EMA this time, and you can see that we stopped at the 9 EMA. So that's several stocks that we've seen that are making stops at their 8 or 9 EMA, and that's significant. We are looking at the Chiku span, and the Chiku span is in the cloud. That's good, but the Chiku span now is heading up into this area. If price does break through the 9, then the Chiku span will see resistance at the top of the cloud, and that's what we're going to look for. Plug was up 13%. Again, staying below the 8 and the 9, with 2 days ago getting a bounce off the Chiku span, getting a bounce off the 50, and today did not reach the 50 EMA. We're looking at Progress Software. Remember, we were going to trade the CD. Well, we didn't make a full C, but we certainly are moving up to 47.24. So if this is a stock that you're interested in, and I'm going to put a sticky note to myself to look at PRGS tomorrow, PRGS, and I'm going to buy into that stock, and I'm going to trade it up to 47.24 and maybe even up to 49. So we've had X to A, a perfect 61.8, pulling back in the range. Would have liked to have seen a pullback here, but instead we pulled back there. What would that be? Is that going to let us move that point? It is, and it's not really telling us what the percent is. We could draw Fibonacci and see if that's a 78.6. I bet you it's in that range. So we really actually missed it. We should have been trading here, and we've missed 2 days of this move up into D, but I said I would trade it, and I'm going to trade it tomorrow. Anything else we want to talk about? Certainly Square, up 11.5%. Here's yet another stock stopping at the 8 EMA. All of this tells me with the McClellan oscillator that we are in for a sideways move. The bears are still in control. Don't expect a big day tomorrow.